Hello and welcome back to another Halloween special video. It's October and so I decided that every week we would have a Halloween video. And we're on our third video now, so let's begin. In today's video we are going to build a tagelharp. Now you might wonder what that is. Well, a harp is a musical instrument and most likely you know about that. Well, a tagelharp is a old Scandinavian musical instrument, Vikings, stuff like that. Tegel is the Swedish word for horsehair. So the mane on a horse is tegel. And it's a musical instrument where the strings are made out of the hair from a horse. Hence the name, tagelharp. Now, there are many ways you can build these. There don't seem to be any real like the way it is supposed to be made. There seems to be a lot of different ways it's been made. If you look at old archaeological findings, you will see that the design is changing and there's some difference in it. But basically it's a box with an extra little arm thing that can hold the strings in place so that you can play them. Now, I'm not really looking to build an historical instrument. It would be really cool and interesting. But for this time, we are going to make a more modern Halloween-inspired thing. Anyway, what we need to start building this is we're going to need a board of wood. And I have here some nice hard wood. This is oak. And I've drawn out my design and we're just going to cut this out. And this here we're not going to cut out, but make thinner. So we're going to cut into this with our router and we're going to remove everything, but leave it maybe 5 mils or 2 mils thick as a top, because this is going to be the inside and this is going to be the top that everyone can see. But up here, you see these lines here and this shape here and this inner part here. That we are going to remove. So, yes, let's just pull out our saw and cut as much as we can away. If you look online on tagelharps, you will find that they're basically very, very simple instruments, and they are made just using basically a box or something like that, sort of like a box guitar or something, but with a hole for the strings to go over instead. But I'm making something a little bit more fancy and a little bit more exclusive. I don't know what to call it. And I'm gonna give this away to my younger sister because believe it or not, I'm not that much into Vikings, but she really loves them. So I think this is gonna be a nice gift for her because she loves that sort of stuff. Fun thing, my middle name is actually Odin, so I really should be into Vikings, but I don't know. It's not really my thing. Anyway, let's take this board now and cut it to pieces. Okay, so here it is right now, and the sides here where I didn't cut are really nice because obviously that's the way the board came, but everything else that I just cut is very rough, and as you can probably tell, I didn't cut exactly on the line perfectly all around. So I'm gonna take my sander and I'm just gonna clean up everything and make it look nice. And yeah, you don't need to see that. So we're gonna skip to when I'm routing this out. So yeah, see you in a bit. Okay, so here it is now. It's all looking good. This is the way it's supposed to look. And we have a little hole here. And it's basically sunken in, and we have a top that is about somewhere around 2.5 mil thick, and I think that's going to be perfectly fine. Now if you want to make one of these the way that you will see them most of the time online, then you will actually have a box and you'll just put this on, this extra thing for the strings, and I've already said that. Now I have a couple of things I want to do, and the first thing I want to do is I want to mark out 2 F-holes on the side here, but we're not going to do F-holes, we're going to do something else, and then we'll cut them out or something. I don't actually know what I want to make. I might just make a round hole in the middle. Seems to be maybe the easiest. I don't know. We'll see what happens. But I think I'm supposed to have 2 F-holes. Give me a second to design something and we'll look at it together. And now I can just push this up like this, take a measurement, and that gives me where I need to draw. So I can just make marks. There. And then we have a line here for where the body is. I can just put this back in place and make sure everything lines up. And then I can just transfer that mark, line up them with a ruler, like so, and then round these over a little bit like so. And now I can carve out this middle and make a bowl, and I can take this block of wood and carve it down to make the outer bowl. So let's do that and see what happens. Okay, so what I'm doing right now is something that is kind of dangerous and a technique that I'm not recommending that anyone else is doing. I've been building things in wood for my entire life, and I'm very comfortable with tools and power tools, and I know sort of what could happen and what will happen if I do certain things. So don't do this if you haven't used power tools before. I would like to just cut this by hand with chisels and gouges, but I don't have the time because I need to get this done in order to have it be a Halloween video and have it come out in time. And that's never a good excuse, I feel like, but it's the excuse I have. And yeah, so I would not recommend doing it the way I'm doing it, but that's the way it is sometimes. So yeah, that's all I have to say about it, really. Okay, so now I'm gonna glue on the lid, and it's actually gonna be fairly difficult to do because it's a round bowl, and so yeah, we'll see how it goes, and hopefully everything goes well. I'm gonna start off by putting down some glue. Okay, so I wasn't really happy with how I clamped things, so I switched over to the thing that I use to clamp guitar tops, and I think this looks like it's gonna work. So this is how I'm gonna do it. I still kept the tape on just to make sure everything would still be aligned the right way. Now you can see the body, and it's looking good. I think it's happy. Okay, so I've sanded it and it's all looking good. And now, because you know we need to have it a little Halloweeny, we're just gonna make it a little bit darker. So we're just gonna stain it. So let's just put on some of this stain and see if we can get it to look nice and dark. Okay, so I ran strings from the top here all the way down to here and over here and try to get an even spacing, and here I have the marks for that spacing. And so I'm just gonna come in here and I'm just first gonna drill very little just to get it started, and then I'm gonna angle it and drill slowly and come out the other side. And I'll do the same here in the middle. And the last. And we'll take off the tape. And that looks pretty good for being improvised. Now I can put the strings through here and I can bend them up here. And I made a bridge out of just some scrap piece of bone that I had laying around, and the only thing I did was I cut it down to size, and it naturally had this curve in it, so it became triangle shaped. So it's bigger in the bottom and it's sitting right there. And then I took a little bit extra bone that I have laying around and I made a knot, and I made a scratch mark right here, which you can see, and I'm just gonna glue it in place right there on the edge, and then we can put strings on. Well, that's the end of this video. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you liked it. Here it is right now. That's the front of it, and here is the back. I had some sort of issue with the lacquer. I don't know if you can see it, but it's really dull in some areas, and yeah, a little bit glossy in some areas. So because of the time limit I have on these videos that I'm doing around Halloween, I couldn't really fix that, but I'm gonna take this apart later and I'm gonna clear coat it again and then wet sand it and do all of the steps that I didn't really go into detail on this. But I hope you liked it. It works, although the strings haven't been stretched, so it goes out of tune pretty quickly. I'm gonna go and look for some horse hair, because you're supposed to twist and turn and roll up horse hair and tie over it, and play this with the bow, the same as a violin. And I don't have horse hair right now, but I'm gonna go and trying to source it somewhere, somehow. I might have to kill a horse. We'll see what happens. But right now it has nylon strings from a guitar. And yeah, it goes out of tune a little bit too quickly, but I'm hoping that by stretching it, I'll be able to do something. But anyway, yeah, again, here it is. And I actually kind of like it. I think it's cool. I think it has its own thing. I didn't show everything in super detail, like making the bone bridge, but it's just a piece of bone and I just cut it to size. And the same thing for the nut right here. If you've seen anything about guitar building with, you know, bone, you've seen these things already. But let's now go to the demo and see what you think. And yeah, hopefully I inspired you to want to make something like this. There are a bunch of weird and crazy instruments out there that if you've only listened to like pop music or something like that, you wouldn't have any idea of them. So yeah, go out and explore the world of crazy musical instruments from all sorts of cultures around the world. There is a lot of interesting things to find. If you wouldn't mind pressing the like and the subscribe button, please do so, because that would make me happy and let me know that you appreciate the videos that I'm making. But anyway, until next time, stay awesome and cool, and go and make yourself some weird, I don't know, instrument from somewhere. It doesn't have to be a weird, crazy old Viking instrument if you're not into Vikings, but if you are into Vikings, I recommend making one of these. You can make it a lot simpler than I did, and you don't need to use bone if you don't want to. And yeah, it's basically just a box. The hard part maybe is making this thing here to put on a box, but you can do it. I believe in you. So go and do that, and also celebrate Halloween. Why is there a guitar pedal lying here? Maybe I can watch some of my favorite YouTuber. I don't know.
I've been working on making this, and it's an advanced version of this, which if you checked out my YouTube or, you know, where you're at now, probably the Instagram. It's a 5-way rotary knob. That's bypass your clean.
Why are you holding a knife?
To kill you! No! Yeah! Time to die! Yeah, yeah, die! Yeah!
I gotta get away!
I am dead. Damn it. I will get it. One day, Do you think you can hide? I'm coming for you. I do. Anywhere. You don't know. I will never get it off.